What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of In the Wild. I'm Ray Sean, and I'm excited to talk to you guys. As you can tell from my t-shirt, because I usually don't wear t-shirts in the studio, today's topic is going to be a little bit different in nature from what we usually talk about, from like the fun and exciting stuff. Well, today we're going to talk about something a little bit more serious, and that's cancer. Cancer affects every community, all of us throughout the country, and if you didn't know, the Georgia Cancer Center here on campus helps patients as well as research that affects those not only in Georgia, but across the nation and potentially globally. And today we're going to talk first up with Martin Jones, who is the president of Paceline, which is an organization, a nonprofit organization that is literally funding cancer research at the Georgia Cancer Center. And that's something that is very needed in so many different ways, and Martin's going to tell us all about that. And we are going to talk a little bit about Pace Day, which is their signature event to walk, run, or ride your bike to help fundraise for cancer, as well as Team Jaguar, which is our team here on campus that helps Paceline fundraise, because by Pace Day, we have some really ambitious goals for the amount of students, employees, as well as funding dollars that we want to help fundraise. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in this episode. So I hope you're ready, Jag Nation, because here we go. Martin, thanks for being here with us today. Really excited to talk a little bit about Paceline and Pace Day. So for those who are unfamiliar, especially with Paceline, do you mind kind of giving us a general overview?
Yeah, my pleasure, Rachel. Good to be here. And by the way, if you can't see it, great T-shirt.
Thank you. It was a gift. It was a gift.
It looks good on you. It looks good. Certainly, it'll be my pleasure. So, yes, Paceline has been around a few years already. Actually, we were founded back in 2018.
Okay.
And our mission is a special nonprofit. Paceline is a special nonprofit, and I'll explain a little bit more as to what I mean by that. But with our mission is to set the pace to end cancer. I think that's most important for folks to understand, is that if you think about fighting cancer in our community, I want people to think about Paceline. And of course, all of Paceline's funds go directly to our own institution with an AU, the Georgia Cancer Center. We're a fundraising organization. 2018 is our founding year. We've since then raised the best part, our community has raised the best part of $2 million for innovative cancer research right here at AU within the Georgia Cancer Center.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and I think hopefully we'll cover a little bit more of how that happens, but it very much is it's a team effort. It really is about, people have perhaps heard the phrase, it takes more than a village to fight, and it truly does. And so it is a magical coming together of a lot of entities in and around the community, not just in Augusta, but further afield also, and year round, and also businesses in this region too. So we actually, in our mission statement, it says, it's a movement of communities and organizations coming together to set the pace to end cancer. That's the goal. And so far, we're making progress on that goal.
I love that. But I guess just to touch base on your background a little bit, how did you, I guess, get involved in doing this type of work? Because to not only do nonprofit work, but to support cancer research is kind of specific and like niche. Yeah. So how did you get into this type of work?
Yeah, good question. I mean, it's quite literally, for me, it really feels like a privilege and like a calling, if you like. Started, my story is way back in 2008. And I'd had a serious illness for a number of years, not cancer, fortunately, but a different illness that for many years I was recovering from. And I wanted to do something that was inspirational to those who were suffering from something similar and other good causes. And I thought, what can I do that's something really would stretch myself way out of my comfort zone, that would also inspire others to maybe take action themselves, or those who were struggling with that illness at the time, give them some sort of inspiration. And so I actually left my job to ride the Tour de France in 2008, which is pretty big undertaking, and I raised lots of money, about best part of $30,000, international press coverage for it, something I'm really proud of. And those $30,000 went to various good causes. And then at that period, that would have been summer 2008, within 6 months of that, completely out of the blue, my father was diagnosed with cancer. And up until then, he was, to all concerned, had a perfectly healthy existence. He was a healthy man in his late 60s, and diagnosis was pretty acute. And we gave him 3 months to live.
Oh wow!
And he managed to live for 6 months. And so his passing was an additional motivation. At that time, I was taking a step in the direction of doing things for nonprofits. It made sense to me to try and pursue that path where possible in my future. So that kind of the shorthand story as to how I came to be in Augusta to lead Paceline, starting in 2018.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, being able to raise $2 million since then is very impressive. So we also have Pace Day, which is kind of like the signature fundraising event for Paceline. Can you talk a little bit about what Pace Day is for those who may want to get involved with that?
Yeah, and we can talk about. And we have, first and foremost, it's our biggest annual fundraiser. It's every October. This year we have done everything we could. We've changed the date actually. We've brought it forward a week. So Pace Day this year, it's coming up. It's October the 5th here in Augusta. And that's all the fundraising, 100% goes to our Georgia Cancer Center as part of Augusta University health system. So that's sort of a headline. We already have lots and lots of teams and individuals who are participants who have signed up for this magnificent event. It is, I want to say, the single biggest amount of fun you could have and activities all rolled into one day. It's very much a sort of celebration of fundraising for our Georgia Cancer Center, all combining into one special day around a 5K fun run and or walk or a ride. So you can walk, run, or ride for cancer research. 100% of all the dollars on Pace Day and the rest of the year go directly to our Georgia Cancer Center.
So let's talk a little bit about just, I guess, the dollars and where do they go, because I feel like there's a lot of organizations that may help fundraise for cancer, but for this is in particular cancer research. So can you talk a little bit about like where the funds go that people choose to donate?
Yeah, I think this is part of what it makes it special, other than the fact that it's pretty special. I'll repeat that, 100% of the funds. So that's not 8%. Every single dollar goes to, every cent, every dollar goes to a very good place. And that place is the Cancer Center, specifically cancer research here at the Georgia Cancer Center. And for those of you who may not know where it is, it is literally down the road. It's on Laney Walker. That's where the Georgia Cancer Center Research Laboratory is. And I think one of the things we're really proud of is the fact that it is research, and it's a multitude of different types of research, and also covering lots of different cancers. So there are organizations who do amazing jobs that are specific to a particular cancer. All of our dollars go to research that covers a multitude of different types of cancer. So we really are trying to address it from all angles, and that means different types of research. So the funding dollars go to enable brilliant researchers, some of whom are absolutely world-class, right here on our doorstep. And they could be preventative in nature. They could be classic clinical research aimed at a better treatment or drug. Some might be educational in nature, and others, very community oriented. So I think it's important to mention that it's a really good question, because you'd be forgiven for thinking that research might be, very specific to just drug treatments. In fact, it's far more comprehensive than that.
Which I think that's just really, really interesting, of like all the opportunities that it has. But it also goes to help fund projects for some of our researchers to get grants for further funding.
Yes.
As well.
Yes, and further to the point I made about being special, we call that a force multiplier. So one of the ways we describe our nonprofit is that a dollar supporting Paceline. Let me explain. Many of our listeners and viewers will be familiar with or have heard of NIH, sort of federal dollars, federal grants for research. So, and in many cases, they're large-scale grants, and so there's a lot of competition in and among universities and health centres to win those grants. And so, the Paceline dollars kind of act as grassroots funding for researchers for whom it's very competitive and very difficult to get the funding they need to get their projects off the ground, and for those projects ultimately to result in NIH success, so winning federal grants. So multi-million-dollar grants, actual. So when we look at the research that Paceline has funded so far, there are approximately 26 projects. Up until recently, that was the number. We've just added a few more, but until recently, 26 projects have resulted in 6 NIH major grant wins, successes for our institution, and we're talking in excess of $12 million from those, just between those 6 NIH grants. So they are directly attributable to Paceline research. Huge wins for our university, incredibly important.
And what does that feel like for you as president of the organization to see the force multipliers and seeing it multiply into maybe starting off as just a couple hundred, but turning into millions that will impact not only people locally in Augusta, but the nation, globally?
Yeah, I feel like it, and we're really proud of it. It genuinely, the joy we get as a small team that run Paceline, it very much feels like we're enabling this magic to happen. It's very much the work of the community and the businesses, the organizations. You know, there is a team at Augusta University, Team Jaguar, that's growing as we speak. So it's all the participant team, it's all the magic of all, as I say, it's really a team effort year round. It's that coming together, those folks that enable this magic. So that's first and foremost, that gives us a lot of satisfaction to see that happen. And for the doctor, I think it's worth pointing out that for the researchers, there was an excellent quote from, I think it's a chairman of pathology, Dr. Coley, in fact, and he said it perfectly. He said, like, our researchers, knowing that the funding is coming as a result of a community fundraising is extra motivation for our cancer researchers here at the Georgia Cancer Center to know that it's coming from individuals. It has a personal face, makes it extra powerful. So it's like our community is literally funding some really top-class, innovative cancer research here. And some of our brilliant researchers are turning that into national level funding.
I love that. And as you speak of different teams, because in support of Pace Day, but also just fundraising, Paceline does have the opportunity to have different companies and organizations create teams. The team that everyone should join would be Team Jaguar. But can you talk about that a little bit as well, of how the teams are structured and how they can help and support you guys as well?
Yeah. I actually got a little prompt. You can look at some of those yourself, Ray Sean. But there is a really growing list of incredible organizations. Some of I alluded to already. What I have here in my hand is a comprehensive list of all set of organizations, from whether it be the local tourist board has a team, Queensborough Bank, I'll name a few, Pinnacle Bank, Augusta National Golf Club employee, they have a staff team. There's a Fleet Feet, those of you familiar with the Fleet Feet stores locally, Augusta Coca-Cola, I've just named a few there. Hope there are no issues with me naming those co-sponsors if you like. But there are Southern Nuclear to name another one. Piedmont, a sort of neighbouring healthcare institution, there's some crossover with the healthcare services. So Wellstar, there are so many organisations and teams, and that's not to mention the individuals and groups from local churches, and quite literally families who really just want to fight cancer.
Yeah.
Don't we all? And some have got incredible stories, and we call it their why they're fighting cancer. And I just, you and I were talking earlier about we're so fortunate. We get so much feedback from the community and encouragement, and occasionally we get a really nice note lands on my desk. In fact, I'll just read this very briefly. This is from one of our supporters who reached out to us on Monday, just earlier this week, said, "Oh, my wife Cara and I were just talking about this year's event, Pace Day, and determining whether we would take part, whether we would have our team ready to take part." And his wife Cara, this is John who wrote me the email. His wife Cara is a cancer survivor, and she's actually recovered from leukemia. And it would be the fourth year since the transplant was, in her case, the operation was done to cure her of her disease. She was able to ride the event on her 2-year anniversary, and it was pretty emotional. Every day of life is a blessing, and we're grateful for the talented and kind medical professionals that we met during our journey. And they are directly referring to folks at the Georgia Cancer Center. Thank you for what Paceline does.
Oh, that's awesome. How does that feel when you get those type of comments and compliments of the impact that you guys are having?
Yeah, it's huge, and we, as I say, there's no bigger stakeholder, if you like, than the community which you serve, and that's a great example. And it's very motivating, wonderfully inspiring for us as staff, and we feel the need, obviously, to make things even better experience for our main fund for folks like that who back us so much. They're very supportive. The least thing we can do is put on a great event for them, and Pace Day, October the 5th, is the nearest and best opportunity we've got to do that.
So for this year's Pace Day, we can, as you mentioned earlier, walk, run, ride.
That's right.
But I feel like there's other ways that people can get involved too, where they're just being like a cheerleader out there as well, right?
That's right.
So yeah, talk to us about Pace Day and what the day of experience will look like for those who want to get involved.
Yeah, think of it first of all as it's a fun event. It's a great way to be with friends, family, colleagues, fellow students, fellow faculty members, right on the day, downtown Augusta. It is a big sort of celebration of the fight against cancer in our community. There are hundreds of people out, including many hundreds of volunteers for whom we cannot run this amazing event without. And as you say, there's cheer stations, and I think by the time this airs, we will have had our volunteer spots up for grabs, if you like. I think there's something like 300 volunteer spots in total, if not more, this year. So it's a great gathering, a big sort of celebration, if you like. In fact, the walk run is a 5K. That's a new thing this year. Really excited about that. So you don't need any special equipment to get involved. It's really easy. And in fact, the walk run will start from the Georgia Cancer Center and finish at Augusta Common.
Oh, okay.
And so the ride itself as well will also finish at Augusta Common. And so everything will converge on Augusta Common at the end for one, live music, food, and celebration. It's quite special. It's quite something to be involved in. And of course, it's non-competitive. It's all about coming out, doing something that you perhaps wouldn't ordinarily do, challenging yourself a little bit, being with your friends and family and colleagues. It's all about community coming together in the fight against cancer.
And I guess just beyond Pace Day, what does that look like for those who say, hey, I have my why and I don't want to just be involved on this one day, but I want to be involved with Paceline year round? What does that look like for them?
Yeah, it's a good point. And there are many folks who support us multiple years in that way, have made donations, in fact. And so it is absolutely, it's straightforward, and the easiest way would be going to our website, paceline.org, to make donations, and that's one way. Another is through, I think we have a registration participant type called a Paceline Pal, so you can get involved, and it's somewhat similar to being a donor, a little bit more involved, but participation really is, we always try and recommend that as if you're available and if you're in town that weekend. And we've brought the Pace Day event itself forward a week to enable as many folks from Augusta University to get involved. So the true spirit of it is, where possible, get involved physically, be there on the day if you can, participate. And volunteering is part of that too, as I say, but participation, if you can, you get so much fun from that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So we really want everybody to join Team Jaguar.
That's right.
We really want to have a very strong presence at Pace Day for sure, but also, as I just mentioned, just throughout the year. So what could you tell, I guess, the Augusta University community and Jag Nation about joining for Team Jaguar?
Yeah, well, Team Jaguar kind of officially, unofficially was started a couple of years ago. So, in fact, our president proudly reminded folks recently, he even took part. So we have some of the leadership, president's cabinet folks who have been long-term supporters of ours. So there you have a great endorsement there from up top. The team is growing. It's being led by a combination of folks, but not least Thomas Warren is taking the charge on that, and also I think the Mark Thompson, I will say, drop his name in as well as Dean of the School of Business, is personally involved and helping to lead the charge. So there are many department leads who are already chomping at the bit to get involved in this year's Pace Day and will be there that day. Team Jaguar is growing. This year, we're estimating it to be the biggest Team Jaguar has ever had this year. I think that's absolutely the goal. And we'd like to have, several hundred folks, in fact, from university. That's the goal. And know that everybody involved from Team Jags know that you're supporting your own healthcare, component within university, your own cancer center here as part of AU. So it's huge. Every dollar is staying here and benefiting the institution. So that's really special. And to know that you're having, long-term impact and potentially national, if not global impact through the findings of the research that's carried out at the cancer center is, I like to think, should be motivation enough. It's your chance to do something on your doorstep for your cancer center to directly benefit your community, simply put.
I love that. And thank you so much, Martin, for chatting with me a little bit about Paceline, Pace Day, but also, of course, Team Jaguar. For those watching, I definitely hope you consider joining Team Jaguar because we want to see you out there on October 5th. And we got more information about Team Jaguar, Pace Day coming up. And we have a very amazing story for you right when we come back. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome, Laura, to In the Wild. We're so excited to chat with you today. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and for today's conversation, we are going to talk about cancer. And with you being a cancer warrior, we really were excited to have you come on to share your story. So do you want to get us started with talking a little bit about how you learned about your diagnosis and just those earlier stages in your journey?
Yeah. My journey actually started about 3.5 years ago. I was diagnosed at a young, tender age of 36. So a lot of what I heard in the beginning was I was just too young for cancer.
Oh, wow.
So I was misdiagnosed for a good 9 months. Once we found it, it was already progressed to stage 4. So my whole journey since day one, it's always just had to have a meeting. If I got to go through all this and fight, it's just to save the next young girl. Because cancer knows no age, and I just feel like my story or my journey should save somebody.
For sure. And how did you find your way to the Georgia Cancer Center? What was that experience like for you?
I was obviously young, and mammograms are usually covered by insurance once you hit 40.
Wow.
So I was pre-40. I had no family history. I was adopted, so we didn't really have that family history. So there was no urgency to have it be covered by insurance. So obviously we had to go out of pocket, and I went to AU Imaging. And they were really just rock star from first appointment. They just got me on the fast track of getting me diagnosed, and they put me right in the hands of Georgia Cancer Center. And it's been home since, literally.
Yeah, and what has your experience been like working with the Georgia Cancer Center for treatment?
It's been amazing. I mean, that's like so cliche and probably under describing them. But as far as like when I say home, I literally went home for a second opinion. And even though I was in Illinois, I still had my nurse here checking on me throughout the entire duration of my 6 months of being away. And the whole time I was gone, I was like, I have to get back because I just trust them with everything that I have, and they pour into me just as much as I pour into them. They don't make me just feel like a number or another patient on their list for that day. It's really like I'm seeing my aunt, my cousin, my sister. I've made friends there. There's just such a community, not just for cancer patients, but well beyond that, lymphedema, whatever it may be. They really just aim to be supportive in any way that they can. And I mean, who doesn't want that? Who doesn't need that? So, I mean, it's the biggest part of your journey is having your community. And once you find that, I think that the endless possibilities will start running in. So, and here I am sharing on a platform, my story, my journey.
Yeah, and I'm sure having that connection with them makes a difference when it comes to your outcomes because you trust them so much, as you mentioned, to where you're looking to them as friends and family.
Yes.
So I'm sure that has impacted you well beyond, right?
They've always told me from day one, make sure you have a positive outlook. It really does. It's a big part of your treatment. It's your outlook. If you're not doing this for a big purpose or for a reason, find your reason first of all and lean into that. But I mean, they just tell you stay positive, and I do. I wholeheartedly believe that my positivity will be part of my reason I make it to the cure.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I guess just kind of going back a little bit, what was, I guess, your emotions and your feelings when you, I guess, first were finding out that you were misdiagnosed, but also coming to the Georgia Cancer Center and getting the treatment that you needed?
Yeah, I was angry. I think that was probably the one word to sum it all up. I was just angry, and for a lot of reasons. And I felt that the medical community had let me down. And it's somebody that I really trusted in. Doctors, police, firefighters, we grow up learning to trust in those people. So when you get let down, I was very scared coming into Georgia Cancer Center and how much I was going to be trusting these doctors now. Not that they had done anything, but now I have PTSD about it. So going in, I had all those worries, and do I really believe everything? So for them to knock those walls down as quickly as they did and just embrace me for where I was, and they understood my journey to that point, they really just took the walls completely down, and I was able to just move past that angry feeling. I mean, you're going to go through some emotions that are very heavy. My life was flipped upside down. So, I mean, being able to rebalance and re-find your ground is important, and Georgia Cancer Center did that for me.
And was there anything, I guess, surprised you about starting the process of getting treated, or just the general support from the Cancer Center?
Yeah, I mean, they still to this day blow my socks off. Like, I literally could never need for anything. I mean, most recently, there's a doctor there, Dr. Hari. He was working with me on my lymphedema because I had surgery done to remove a breast and some lymph nodes had to come out. So he got it to where my insurance paid for a pump, to where I did not have to come to the cancer center every time I needed my arm massaged. So every day I get to sit at home in the comfort of my living room and do my own pump for an hour. And it's like, thank you, one last trip down. Not that I, don't love going there, but it saves a seat for the next person. But the fact that, Hari went above and beyond to ensure that I had something in the comfort of my home was amazing.
Yeah, based in being able to experience that treatment or the massage at home. Like you said, saves a seat for someone else and gives you convenience.
Yeah, and he brought that right to my front door.
And so with our cancer center, we talk about it being world-class in so many different ways, from the research, but also from the treatment that patients will experience. and a lot of times when you think of world class, people think of like big cities. So were you surprised at all that this experience was happening here in Augusta?
I brag about it, actually, because when I go home, I'm from a very small community, about 3,500 people.
Okay.
So the big town that I have to drive to is about an hour away, and that's where the second opinion was for me, and that's like 40,000 people. But to compare the difference in like the care, the research, I brag that this is a medical community. Like, I brag that this is where I get to go. I'm 2 hours from Atlanta. I could go to Emory. I could go, I mean, not to be name dropping. I could be picking other facilities, and I just don't. This is, to me, there's nothing better, and I'm not going to find better.
For sure. And over the course of time, you've become an advocate for sharing your story and raising awareness for other young women. What would you say kind of gives you that strength or motivation to be an advocate for others?
It's 1 in 4 women. So I get emotional, but I was adopted, and I have 4 stepsisters, adopted sisters. So 1 in 4. So I'm 1 in 4, and I'd rather it be me, but I want to protect, and I want to see that number be 0 in 4. So I really want to express like just how important early detection is. It could save your life. I tried it. I was just too close. So I just don't want anybody else to feel robbed. And I had to be my own advocate in the beginning. And so I just don't want to see anybody else have to tread this road when it's so preventable. It really is. And we can get genetic testing if it runs in your family. And you'll know your percentage is higher of actually ending up with breast cancer. So hereditary, doing your monthly exam, self-exam. I did find a knot. Some people don't find a knot. Knowing and looking for, dimples and impressions within your breast. Watching the appetite, losing weight unexpectedly. There's so many things that we could be checking for, and just making sure you're scheduling those, yearly exams with, your women doctors, men doctors. We all need to have them done. And I know that we all think it just can't happen to us. I was one. It's not going to happen to me. And it did. So just protect yourselves.
And what would you say to someone who may have started the process of getting treatment and are in the early stages of their treatment journey or cancer treatment journey?
I'd love to say it gets easier. Emotionally, it will. And I think physically, we're always just going to have a struggle in what those treatments look like per person, and to each is their own. But I think that early on, find your community. And I'm dead serious. If you don't have one, I'm it. Like, call me. Like, I'll be your community. But don't do it alone, and just make sure you have your support, because it changes the whole dynamic of what you're looking at.
And I guess through some of the tougher days, what helps you stay grounded and hopeful throughout the process?
My fiance,
Aww.
My family. I have nieces and nephews. I just want my story to be one of victory, and I can't wait to get to the end of this line and just be like, it was worth it. So, it's really just my family, my friends, and just showing the community that cancer isn't your life. Just if you end up with it, it's just a part of it. And I look at myself as being more chronically ill than terminally ill. So I have to get through those and combat those symptoms. This is not a death sentence. It's literally a way to, I guess, look like a warrior to everybody. For me, that's how I want to be viewed.
Well, I definitely, just in talking with you, I definitely feel like you are a warrior, and you are giving a lot of positivity to others to, truly encourage them to take care of themselves, to make a difference. So that way we can get to that point of 0 and 4, as you mentioned before. And so as for this episode, as you know, we're talking a little bit about Paceline and how it supports the Georgia Cancer Center in raising funds for research. And in particularly Pace Day, because that's one of our really big initiatives, and as a university, Team Jaguar,
Yes.
will be helping out. So what is that like for you, seeing organizations kind of rally together to support, or not just organizations, but the community coming together to support cancer research and hopefully finding more effective treatments and hopefully cures.
I love watching the community come around because, as you mentioned, Paceline is a big thing for Georgia Cancer Center and their involvement there. And they have many other ways that people can get involved and also show their support. I do a lot of the stuff for like the breast cancer walk, the Unite the Fight. So I participate in a lot of ways. And I think the more it just doesn't matter what kind of cancer you have. I think we're all one community at the end of the day, and we're all just fighting for the same, end result, and that cure is it. So the more that we all can come together and support the bigger cause, it doesn't matter stage or cancer, we're all going to get out of this together.
Yeah, for sure. And in talking to Martin, he mentioned how over the past couple of years they were able to raise over $2 million, which to me I feel like is super
amazing,
impressive.
Yes.
Knowing that money is going directly to the Cancer Center to help fund these research projects to truly find a cure for all the types of cancers. Mm-hmm. When you hear $2 million being raised, what is that like for you?
Well, that was the first time me hearing it, but that's huge. And I think for this community alone, I've also been affected by some of the donations at the cancer center. They were donated stuff for, freezing of your hair, like cold capping is what they call it.
Oh, okay.
So there's other things that are coming back to the cancer center that are actually helping patients, keep their hair while they're going through chemo. So there's things that money goes towards that we actually, as patients, are told this came from that foundation.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's really nice to see the money at work.
So what would you say to someone who may be curious about getting involved with maybe Paceline and supporting the Cancer Center, but not sure where to start?
Oh, you can call the Georgia Cancer Center and they will get you in contact with any and every way that you can support. And I strongly suggest that if you don't have something that you're passionate about or giving to currently, that you do look into one of these options with Georgia Cancer Center, because they are physically helping patients in your community today.
I love that. And this just last question before I let you go. What legacy do you hope your story, your experience with the Cancer Center leaves for not only our community, but probably for the world that's listening here?
For anybody listening. Yes, just know that I want my story just to ring positivity. That my cancer was never who I was. It's literally just a part of my journey. And I was meant to go through this so that I could help somebody next to me. So as long as I've done that, then I feel like I've completed my journey. But you opening up your platform and other people that allow me to speak so openly about my, cancer, I appreciate more than ever, because I would never have these opportunities as I'm not really from the area. So my reach is not your reach. So for you to open up and let us come in and really talk about stuff like this is amazing on your part, and you're helping part of our journey. So you're amazing for that.
Well, I think you're amazing. Thank you so much for chatting with me and sharing a little bit of your story. I'll be out there for Pace Day and support.
I'll be there too.
Yes, excited to see you there.
Yes.
And any final thoughts that you would like to tell our folks for Pace Day or just in general? Come join
and let it speak for itself, because once you're there, you're feeling the community, you'll see exactly what it's about, and you're not going to not want to be a part of something so amazing. So come out and join us.
All right. Well, thanks again, Laura.
Yes, thank you.
All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Thanks again to Martin for talking to us to learn more about Paceline, Pace Day, Team Jaguar. I hope you guys take the time to seriously consider joining Team Jaguar. We could use all the support out there. I know Paceline or Pace Day is coming up in a couple weeks, but we definitely want all the support that we can get. So definitely go to paceline.org, check out Team Jaguar to learn more about how you can join. And a huge thank you to Laura for sharing her story. Being a cancer warrior, I'm sure, is not an easy thing, and hearing her still give positive energy, hopeful energy, I love to hear it, and I'm rooting for her as she goes through treatment. And I hope you guys have really enjoyed this episode, taken away some things from this episode. I hope you take your health seriously enough to take Laura's advice of getting checked and try to be proactive in your care. And until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Go Jags!